Welcome back, everyone. I'm officially a Audi fan. I've designed the RS6. This is the RS5 and it's beautiful. I also like the RS4, but this RS5 has a new body and it's just chef's kiss. And it looks kind of, from certain angles, it actually looks like a compact RS6. But considering that I've done this before, I was actually struggling to find the blueprints. Google is helpful sometimes, but sometimes it's not always helpful because sometimes the blueprint is just not available. I find the S5 Avant 2024, very similar in architecture, but 2 years old. I feel like I didn't really want to take the risk. And then went to all these websites. And I was really looking for a 3D view of the vehicle, but then I went to Dimensions and found this, basically a blueprint. This is perhaps the best blueprint I've ever used. So if we open up Blender and we create a new general file, let's delete these objects. Let's turn on screencast keys. Let's go to the front right there. Let's turn on the Z-axes, guidelines right there. Let's get our blueprint. And then from there, we can start adding our blueprint. That is excellent. Obviously, it doesn't really look HD anymore, but we can turn on the opacity and turn down that opacity. This is quite a useful blueprint. This is perhaps the best blueprint I've ever used. Let's turn to the right side and let's add the right side view of the vehicle right there. And let's view this from the rear. Let's add this blueprint, turn down the opacity once again. We'll still do our best work. And then we want to add a blueprint from the top as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Rotate this 90 degrees. Add the blueprint from the top right there, turn on the opacity and turn this down. From here we can then go ahead and add a single vertex. Just like I always do, we can start by modeling the hood of the vehicle. Let's extrude our first vertex right there, extrude another vertex right there. Let's view this from the top, carry this back slightly, carry this one back as well. Let's add another vertex right there, carry it forward slightly. Carry this one back slightly, add another vertex right there, carry this one forward slightly. We can select all of these and perhaps relax them if we wanted to. We don't have to just yet, however. Let's make sure that this is perfectly aligned with that area right there. Similar thing right here. And then subdivide by 2, I would say. Let's just adjust it a little bit more. That's good. Let's view this from the front, of course, and we need to carry this down on the Z-axis. Let's view this from the side profile. Let's carry this down slightly. Let's carry this down a little bit as well. So that's good. Where can we go from here? Extrude this vertex like this. Extrude another vertex right there. And extrude another vertex right there. Now with these three, we'll need to adjust them as well, particularly on the x-axis like that. Adjust them a little bit more on the x-axis. Adjust them a little bit more right there. Add a loop cut just around these areas. Add one right there and just carry this in. Carry this up slightly. And view this from the front. Well, from the side view actually. I should say. View it from the front as well. And then I would say dissolve this area. Yeah, dissolve that vertex right there. We'll then extrude some vertices in. We need our mirror modifier, don't we? So let's add our mirror modifier and let's enable clipping, move this to the top, carry this in the center, move it forward slightly on mark, move this one forward as well, add another vertex right there, move this one forward, another vertex right there, move this one forward as well, and I think another vertex right there and move this one forward as well. We can also, with this area, we can also relax these and it does look a little bit better, but we may need to adjust them as well. From this perspective, check it from this perspective as well. Yep, we might just need to adjust some of these like that. May also need to adjust these as well. Not sure just how much. That's a good start. Now, something we have to keep in mind is this area right here. I found a good YouTube video right here that basically, show us the bonnet. And if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea how we're going to do that. Seriously, I have no idea how we're going to do that. But no better way to start than to duplicating some vertices like this. Probably duplicating these like that. Fixing these ones. This is a first. This is the first guess, if I'm being completely honest, and I think it's a little bit higher, if you know what I mean. Like, just look where the creases are around there. It's quite a bit higher, you know, and naturally it's extended down there as well. That needs to be lower, like this, and perhaps relaxing those vertices, relaxing them like that, extruding a vertex right there, carrying this one forwards, extruding another vertex right there, extruding one right here, and extruding one right there, and positioning those up slightly, carrying this one down slightly, carrying that one down slightly, positioning this one up slightly. No idea if this is going to work, if I'm being honest, but adjusting these on the x-axis slightly like this. Probably adjust these ones as well. And then you know what I'll do? I'll duplicate these, carry them across like this, and then maybe positioning them up slightly, not too much. Carrying this one up even more, probably fixing those together, adding another vertex right here. That is tricky. I mean, surprisingly, it doesn't look too bad, but you know, just want to make sure that it's correct. So let's save this file. And if you're ever worried about, you know, messing up these files, you can always duplicate this and add it to a new folder and call it spare, and saving that, and then hiding it. As for the backgrounds, we can add it to a new folder called BG for backgrounds. We can always remove that if we wanted to, but we don't have to, especially right now. So we got some outline right around here. From this perspective, looks like these need to be adjusted on the z-axis, but it might be a little bit contradicting from my perspective, because from the front, and we're going to have a look at that in a moment, from the front like this, looks like it needs to be adjusted as well, but seeing as it's so close, we don't want to mess it up too much. Or is it more like that? We'll leave it like this for now, just in case, you know. But one thing that I do know is that this area right there, there's a crease right there. So here's what we'll do. Looks like there's a crease around this area. Merging these two as well. Probably flatten this on the y-axis. Probably add in a vertex right there, just in case we need that a little bit later. But you know, the key part about this area is that it's a little bit hidden like this. Probably add a vertex right there. This one is a little bit hidden as well. Carry these areas down. Carry these areas down. I wonder if that works. And it's also possible that, you know, sometimes they might be a little bit too low, but because this part is quite intricate, kind of want to get that right. And do you see right there how the crease edges in right there? So right here, it looks like the crease edges in like that. Let's fill those areas. Let's fill these areas. Just taking a guess, you know. Adding a loop cut right there. Let's fill those areas. Probably adding a loop cut there as well. Fill those areas as well. Maybe adding another loop right there. And how about we join those? Do we then dissolve this area? It's rather tricky. Like it's really rather tricky. But then again, we may just have to just merge all of these together like that. The only question is, will this work? So can we then fill these faces, fill those faces? Yeah, let's try it to see if it works, you know. Add a loop cut right here as well, so that we can fill those faces and continue on like this. Add another loop cut right there, fill those faces, add another loop cut right there. Adjust this one like this, fill those faces, probably add another loop cut right there. Let's etch these ones a little bit like this and fill those faces. Does this work? Shade smooth. This might be the longest tutorial part on an area that may not be that necessary. We can then add a loop cut right there. It might work, but then the difficult part begins. You know, what do we then do with these vertices? right there? Good question. Taking a guess, do we, insert this like that? And if that's the case, is it edged up slightly like this? Just following the blueprint right there. Is these areas edged up like that? How about this area? And another important question, do we then bezel this area like that? And do we then fill these areas like this? Add a loop cut right there. Let's adjust. Let's fill those faces right here. Let's adjust these vertices. Let's fill those ones as well. Fill these ones. Fill those ones right there. And adjust these vertices perhaps. May not be the worst idea if we flatten this on the y-axis. Flatten this on the y-axis as well. That's interesting. Do we then fill this area? And finally, fill this area. That was my worry. See what I mean? That was my worry right there. So dissolve this area and see how that works. How about we dissolve this area as well? Actually, not a good idea. What if we join those and then dissolve this area? Does that work? Honestly, it works a little bit better. Does work a little bit better if I'm being honest. As long as it's difficult to see, we can always use matte cap. And matte cap will reveal everything to us and basically tell us that this is ugly. So for one, do we want to join these and reposition it in any way? Looks like it's okay for now. You know what this needs? I'm just trying something here. Something that I always forget to do is like bezel. It's like bezeling these areas. Always forget to do that sometimes, which may not work, but question is it not worth trying? See, what I'm trying to do is to create a circle within a circle. Like sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Do we then need to add another one right here and join those? Perhaps. Is it a subdivision problem? What it's telling us is that this area is unnecessary. Can separate these slightly. Can add another bezel right there. Simply join those. But now this area, yep, telling us that there's a problem right here. Let's fill this area. Let's join those ones. Okay, that might be an improvement. Should we then merge those ones and adjust these ones right there? Should we then adjust these ones like this? Adjust this one like that. Probably adjust this one as well. Possibly carry it out like here. Do we then add another bezel right there? So one area that I do have a problem with is the fact that this just doesn't feel right. Shall we perhaps add something right there? Is that the solution right there? To add a vertex across here and join those two? Do I then raise these ones like that slightly? Do I then raise these ones slightly as well? Do I then adjust these like that? Probably adjust these ones as well. Edge them forward. I mean, from a distance, doesn't look too bad, I wonder if these ones just need some spacing. And perhaps those ones need spacing as well. That's sometimes a thing. Or do we need to add another loop cut within there to make it obvious what's going on? See, the real problem is this is leading that way. That's the real problem. If we can find another way to redirect this, that'll probably be fine. Another idea is to readjust these like that and add that right there and join them. Does that make any substantial difference? Not particularly. Not particularly, to be honest, but something we do need is a group of vertices right around there. That's for sure. Flatten this on the x-axis at least for now. Let's adjust them this way. Let's carry it up slightly. I think this one might need to be adjusted on the x-axis slightly. Let's adjust these one on the x-axis as well. Probably adjust these one on the z-axis slightly. Can adjust these one on the z-axis as well. Can then adjust these one on the z-axis as well like that. Not too much. You can see it will start warping in the bodywork. which is not something we want. We want to avoid that as much as possible. Let's add a loop right there, and we'll join those. That definitely helps. Look at that. That definitely helps. And it's a minimal help, but it's really good. Oof, that's almost perfect. Plan this again on these z-axes. View this from the top, and you can see these vertices need to be etched forward slightly. There is that curvature there we're not trying to lose. And you can see these ones need to be etched out slightly, particularly like that. And I wonder if we need to add more vertices around this area. Flatten this on the x-axis, well, be careful with that. Or dissolve this one and add it once again. Add a couple more loop cuts, like one right there. Add a couple more loop cuts, like one right there. And adjust these vertices like that. And that's interesting. That's interesting. Something I just tried. Well, for one, adjusting those ones. Just giving them some spacing. Which, to be honest, is not essential. But we can always readjust them later if we wanted to. Just carry these ones back in slightly like this. Carry these one out slightly. Carry these one out slightly. And something I'll do here is add in a loop cut right there. And add in a loop cut right there. And join in those ones. But the question is, does it bring back the exact same problem we're trying to avoid right there? Kinda does. And that's annoying. But that is an option. You can see it right there that something is wrong. I just can't figure out like what it needs to be. But nonetheless, we move on from here. I think we've definitely spent enough time working on this area, attempting to perfect it in some way. We can relax those to get a better look. Don't have to. I think what we had was actually quite good, but it's an option. Okay, how about this area? Finally, just adjusting these vertices like this, adjusting those vertices as well, and we can adjust these one as well. We can also fill these ones as well. That is wild. But also, what the hell are these right here? Like even before we fill those right there, is it somehow that these need to be slightly separated? We could then fill these areas like this. Could then fill those areas as well. Add some loop cuts around these areas and join in those ones. Could also join these vertices as well. Clearly, some of them needs to be joined as well up here. And I'm going to join these ones as well. But then it creates this problem, which is really not what we want. Further swing from what we want, in fact, because that area is quite closed off. So we're going to adjust these vertices slightly like this. Dissolve those vertices. Adjust these vertices. Probably dissolve those ones as well. And then I would say group these ones together and join and add a vertex up there. Carry it forward slightly. Carry this one back slightly. Probably flatten this on the Y and adjust it like this. Carry this within. Probably adjust this on the Y. Adjust all of these on the Y and adjust them on the X slightly. Could adjust these on the Y as well. Carry them down slightly and adjust these ones as well. Could then adjust these ones like that. And from here, essentially, pretty much do the exact same thing we just did. Join those ones. And that's if this works. And connecting these ones as well. Don't think it works too well. We need a vertex over there as well, apparently. You know, we pretty much have the same problem right here. As you can see, that's three faces. And it's not supposed to be like that. Not really. So we do have this problem already, if I'm being completely honest. We're just going to adjust these. Let's add a loop cut right here by adding a couple of vertices and just adjusting them like that. And carrying this one like this. I'd say flatten this on the x-axis and flatten this on the x-axis as well. Perhaps rotate this a little bit on the z-axis. Let's see how this looks. I'd say let's dissolve this edge right here and let's join those. See if that makes any difference. Partially makes a little bit of a difference. Let's carry this one up slightly, see if it makes any difference. Let's adjust these vertices right there. Let's also adjust these vertices. Can adjust these vertices as well. And adjust these vertices right there. Now the question is, what can we do from here? You know, can we edge them out slightly? Would that make any difference? Because the problem that's being caused like this doesn't seem to want to go away. So we'll try to be a bit more subtle with our solutions, probably gradually with our solutions as well. How's that? This area looks to be a little bit too high and it's protruding, and it's not looking right if it's protruding like that. How about now? And these areas, I wonder if these areas just need to be lowered, or those areas are a little bit too lowered. Do we add another one right here? Perhaps not. How about dissolving this one right here, joining those, probably dissolving that one right there, and joining these ones, perhaps readjusting these vertices as well. But now these ones, like what's the deal? Are they too low? Or do these ones just need to be rid of? Even if I got rid of those ones, you can see it's still problematic right there. Still creating that area right there that we don't really want. And I've got to keep trying until the solution is right. Is that the solution? Adding our loop cut once again right there, but then this area looks like it's a little bit too protruded. Can we notice this area right here? Or do we just need to lower all of these slightly like that? I mean, perhaps we do. Let's adjust these areas as well. We'll adjust these manually like that. That does look a lot better, but now that's too much. That indent is too much. How about now? A little bit better, but still not entirely correct. Let's adjust these like that. So that's interesting. To be honest, considering how, challenging it was, I'd say this is considerably an improvement. We can also adjust these like this, adjust them slightly like that, adjust these like that, those ones as well, and adjusting these ones like that. Would that make any difference? Just curious. And etch these areas out slightly, adjust these ones like this, probably adjusting these ones as well like that, flatten these ones on the X, flatten these ones on the X, flatten them again once again on the X, same thing with those ones, and just rotate them on the Z axis like that. Carry these one out slightly, carry those ones out slightly like this. Good. And just adjust these ones like that. I'll adjust these ones as well like this, and I'd say then relax those. Okay, considering that we didn't know if we'll be able to get this done, and it looks considerably better now. Yeah, let's save in increments. And that's taken us a long time just to do that part. Holy crap. I thought I'd be like halfway finished by now, but it all depends on the detail. Detail is really important. I mean, what do we do from here? That's going to be a good question. Like, what do we do from here? All right, now that the hard part is over and the difficult part begins, let's continue. We got to be relentless. Okay, so we're going to duplicate these as soon as I etch these out. Or I think they're fine on this angle. They just need to be etched down on these z-axes like that. Etch these ones down as well. Etch these ones down as well. And etch those ones down as well. And perhaps from here we can then duplicate this. P to separate. So now we can start working on this area. Wow, it's just beautiful. So we got to be careful when working on this area. We got to duplicate some vertices like this. Let's dissolve these vertices. Let's dissolve those ones as well. Adjust these ones right there. And start filling those areas like that. Can add some loop cuts around there. We can carry these ones down like that. View this from the front side. I meant the side. add a loop cut right there, etch this area out. And how about this area? Carry this area up like this. Crazy, what the hell do we do with this area? It looks completely different from the side, you know? Let's adjust this like that. Let's adjust this like this. Duplicate those, carry them out like that, carry them down, view this from the sides, profile, and fill this area. I want to say fill that area as well. Carry this vertex forward, select all, shift N to set the normals. And as for these ones, we edge these ones forward as well. These ones as well. Carry these ones in slightly, etch these ones forward, and duplicate these vertices right there. Carry these one up, view these ones from this angle, and adjust this one right there, and fill in those areas right there. Adjust this one as well like that. View it from the sides. Duplicate these, carry these out, view it from, yep, gotta view this from the top like this. Carry these ones forward slightly, duplicate these ones as well, view this from this direction, and move these vertices up slightly like this. Carry these one up as well, carry these ones down, and fill, duplicate these, add them there, carry them out like this. So this is at the side right there. Just keep that in mind. By the way, see those areas right there? We need to etch these ones back. These need to be adjusted like this. Let's carry these ones right there. Carry these ones right there. Carry this one right there. That's good. Carry these ones right there. Carry these ones back like this. Oh, we don't know how much, but there is a cut right there. Right there, the cut's right there. And etch these ones in like that. And fill in this area like this. Etching these ones back like this. Shall we perhaps carry this down on the z-axis, extruding this one back on the y-axis, carrying these areas down, duplicating this, carrying it down, and adjust it using double G, fill in this area. Okay, that's interesting, but these ones need to be out like this. And I believe so too do these ones, especially right here. Especially those ones like this. Perhaps carry these ones back like that, etch them out like this, fill in this face. Only difference is needs to have its own connection, so we'll use knife tool and then dissolve this edge right here. Probably carry this one up slightly, kind of like that. Etch these ones up slightly, double G to adjust these ones like this. This one has gone a little bit too far back. So it's not there, it's there. That cut is right there. So the cut is mostly like that. Like this cut right here. It's like somewhere around there. We got that perfect, didn't we? So let's fill those as well. Probably dissolve this edge right there. And I don't want to have to add any line right there. I mean, we could. And just adjust these ones like that. How's that looking? Does it look like the new Audi? Okay, these ones are getting a little bit too cozy for my liking, so we're going to need to separate them. Same thing right here, we're going to need to separate those, separate these ones as well. And now as for this area, I feel like it needs to be higher. That's my only question. So raise it slightly, position it out a little bit more, raise this area as well, and then possibly we carry it back on the, yeah, that could work. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be either. I don't know. Maybe this is supposed to be adjusted like that, and this is supposed to be adjusted like this. Just wondering, you know, possibly. I mean, that turns into beautiful topology right there. Let's save this. Let's think about the rest of this area. It's just beautiful. That's really what it is. It's marvelous. And due to that, we're going to want to add a circle. Let's turn down the vertices, 16, align to view, tab in, scale this down, carry this back, carry it up, scale it up a little bit more, carry it back slightly, carry it down, scale it a little bit more, carry it down, carry it forwards, subdivide by 2, scale up a little bit more, carry it back slightly, carry it down, and duplicate this, scale it down, probably delete that area right there, add this to spare. Well, actually, don't add it to spare just yet. In fact, don't even separate it just yet, because these are going to need to be, you know what, do duplicate this one and add this one to spare. But as for these two, we're going to delete some of these. We're going to flatten these on these z-axes. We're going to carry it forward slightly. Going to carry these ones down slightly. Good. And we might end up joining these ones. But before we do that, we're going to separate these and join these ones. Can probably hide this for now. Readjust this one right here and merge those two. Adjust this one as well, like that. Merge those two. Wait a minute, what's happened here? Oh, that's annoying. I completely forgot to adjust this on the x-axis like that. Yep, my mistake. But then we're going to have to edge them out as well. Edge them in actually. And not by much. It's a small amount, but they are edged in like that. That's better. Then we can basically join those, adjust this one, double G, join these ones. Just wondering now if we should carry these ones down like this, carry this one forwards, adjust those ones, may add a loop right there once again, same thing we had before. Adjust these ones back and adjust those ones back. Carry these ones down. Now we can start thinking about this area, of course, such as right here. We'll edge these ones in, extrude these, carry these down, add a loop cut right there, around here, carry these ones, yep, forwards, carry these ones forward as well, and I'd say carry those ones forward. But the question is, just how much? You can see it follows it all the way around, so the top view is actually perfect for that. Almost like this. Adjust this one on the y-axis a little bit more, just that one on the y-axis, but notice that this one is too far forward. So it's like it's adjusted like that, then extrude it in like this, adjust it on the X. This is a good start, like, you know, some impressive stuff. I didn't think I'd be able to get this done, but it's impressive. And if anything, I do think this may end up improving this design even a little bit. Let's adjust it, pressing double G just a little bit. Now obviously we're going to need the rest of the circle that we created right here. This is going to help us big time, so tab in and carry these to the right hand side right there to align with the blueprint. View this from the front because obviously some of these will need to be adjusted, particularly these ones. So that is exactly what we'll do. We'll go ahead and adjust them. Not by much, but you know, when you look at the vehicle from this perspective, they're adjusted there, they're adjusted there. They're slightly pushed in. So then we got to look at this area. We're still working on the front, of course. Particularly this area. This is pretty much where we left off. And we know those vertices are inserted eventually. But also, they're extruded down. And this is quite obvious on the model of the vehicle. So if we're looking at these vertices, these are the ones that we need to think about adjusting as well. Let's carry these down slightly more. Let's extrude them forward. Extrude these ones forward, tilt it up. Extrude those ones forward. Let's view this from the top. And let's carry these in slightly. On the x-axis, of course. So too with these vertices. Let's view it from this angle as well. Let's extrude it again. And then we'll extrude it up like that. As for these two, they got to be adjusted as well. You just don't know by how much, of course. So somewhere around there, I should think. And I think this vertex is etched out even more, like this. These ones are probably in a little bit more like that. So what I'm thinking is adding a loop cut right there. We've got to think this edge is quite sharp. So this area is actually quite sharp. So these are actually hidden underneath. So adjust these slightly. adjust those slightly. We know they are hidden underneath just a little bit. Let's carry these ones forward slightly. We can perhaps merge those two, fill those faces. Same thing right there. Perhaps same thing right there. Although with this one, we got to be a little bit more careful. Perhaps add a loop cut around there. Then we can think about filling those. And there's a little bit of an edge right there actually. Perhaps we should add a loop cut around here. Fill those faces. Fill these ones. And fill those ones as well. But like I said, there's a little cut right there where this extrudes slightly. And it's bezeled underneath once again. So even this area that's extruded within, we perhaps have to use active element. So let's extrude that within. Use active element, scale it back on the x-axis, scale it on the y-axis slightly. Let's add a loop cut right there. We'll drop them down slightly and add a loop cut within there as well. And shade smooth this area. And we'll carry these vertices down slightly like this. Just got to make sure that we get this right. I think these ones need to be carried down slightly. Loop cut right there. And the loop cut right there. Shade smooth. Add a loop cut around here. Probably think about flattening this on the z-axis. Well, probably not actually. But just around here, just around there, there's a bit of a edge right there. Add another loop cut right there. Looks a little like that, but it's not coming together yet, so we're not going to worry about it too much just yet. Instead, I want to think about extruding these areas. Keep in mind, this area is entirely bezeled, and down there is pretty much sharp. So I think I got an idea. Use an active element, we'll extrude, drop them down slightly, like perhaps around there. Use active elements, scale them in on the x-axis slightly, scale them up on the z-axis slightly like this. That's good. Scale them up again on the z-axis, but from lower down. That's good. Probably add a loop cut within there. And then we can think about edging these vertices in like this. Of course, this being very similar to the Audi RS that I modeled previously, I'm a little bit more familiar with how everything is supposed to look. So it's a bit more like that. Wonder if we should add another loop cut. So you see that loop cut right there, it sort of channels out. Wonder if it's adjusted like this slightly, kind of like that, but a little bit more professional. So I'll carry these back just by adjusting it like this. Consider carrying it in like that. Adding another loop cut there, adding another loop cut right there. I think one of the thing is that these areas need to be edged out slightly more. So edge them out slightly more. Edge these one out slightly more like that. I'm gonna flatten these on the x-axis, or at least just carry these out like that. Similar thing right here. You know what, carry these one out like this. Think about that area right there, how it's, so even these vertices right there will need to be adjusted like this. Add a loop cut right there, and add another loop cut right there. That is a little bit more familiar. Subdivide by 3. View it from this angle, and I think it's a bit more, angular. Even this area right here, it's a bit more angular like this. You just want to be careful that, it's correct and everything. Do want to be careful where we add these parts. Let's edge this area out slightly. Just wondering if that's how it's supposed to look. Perhaps not. So this area does need a bit more work, but it's definitely something we'll continue working on. May edge this area out slightly, not too much. We'll lower these vertices slightly. Okay, that's a good start on the front end for sure. Definitely looking like the RS5. So that's the good news. It's definitely looking like the RS5. We're not going to work on this area just yet. And actually, we could start working on this area. Like duplicating these, P to separate, select a new group of vertices. I'd say let's separate these ones. Let's hide these one in spare. As for these vertices, we can then extrude them. Can begin extruding these vertices like this. We're going to need to enable clipping for this. So enable clipping, connect it to the center, and then it's all about aligning these ones like that. Particularly this one as well, particularly that one as well, and carry this vertex down like this, carry it out slightly. Now this area can get a little bit intricate, as you can see right there. Got to model this as well, although it's slightly disconnected, but those cuts, we can create them after, I would say. So we can extrude these like that. Actually, we have that in the spare. So it'd be this one right here. Let's add it to connection. So we'll use these ones slightly, I would say, particularly those right there. Actually, these ones as well. Yep, we're going to separate these for now. We're going to join these, Control J, merge these two together. I'm going to carry this one up right there. We're going to carry this one up as well. I'm going to duplicate these, carry these ones down, fill this area. Press double G to adjust this vertex, fill that area. View this from the side as well to make sure that it's correct, like that. Adjust it slightly. We're going to extrude this within. That's good. So this one needs to be adjusted like double G, like that. And then I believe there's another vertex around there. It's extruded like this. Can extrude this one down like that. We can extrude this vertex down like this, so it's in like that, and fill those ones right there. Probably carry it forward slightly. View it from this angle, that's perfect. And I would say then fill this area, fill this area, fill this area, fill that area, and fill these areas like this. Perhaps delete that vertex right there. Extrude this on the x-axis slightly. We're going to extrude it in just a moment, particularly these vertices right here. We're going to extrude these, scale them down like this. They're being scaled on active element, so we're going to scale it up on the z-axis, then going to extrude this in like that. Really starting to look like an Audi shade smooth. Fill this area as well. And I think from the side profile, there's this thing right here. We don't want to mistake that right there. There's the grills right there. Then there's the active arrow right there. Well, it's not active arrow, but it's an arrow device. That's the grill right there. So these areas, we're going to extrude this and carry it back in like that. Select all, Shift N to set the normals, shade smooth, add a loop cut around here. We'll probably add a loop cut around there as well. Subdivide by 3, subdivide by 4, I should think, and add another group of vertices around here, and join those ones right there. Perhaps add some loop cuts around here. I think so, and join these ones, I believe, like that, And then with all of this selected, we can then carry them down slightly like this. I think probably extrude them back like that. I then think add a loop cut around there, possibly, like something like that, but it's looking rather good. It's looking rather good in my opinion. And then we can just, carry these one up slightly, close out this loop. Can possibly extrude another group of vertices right there and fill this area like that. That is super smooth. Add some loop cuts around these areas, add some loop cuts around those areas. Well, don't want to overdo it too much actually, because we're already having this problem right there, which I never like, and there's never like a clear way to fix that issue right there. Like, is it edging these ones forward, or perhaps separating them slightly, or just adding a loop cut right around there? That's possible as well. Yeah, it's possible that we just need some additional loop cuts around these areas, but then that problem gets a little bit more pronounced right there. Let's see just how much we can minimize it. You see the extent we gotta go to minimize it, but we don't want that many. In fact, we only need one right there for now. Let's flatten this on the x-axis, flatten those on the x-axis. Probably flatten these on the x-axis as well. Probably rotate this one slightly like this. Rotate this one like that. But yeah, there's definitely something there that needs to be adjusted. But I'd say for sure that's definitely good progress, you know. Only thing I'd do from here is possibly just extrude some of these vertices in like that. And I'd say merge those, add a loop cut right there. And I'd probably say join these ones right there. We can then add loop cuts there as well. Merge those two. We can then add loop cuts right there as well. And merge these two. I think we're missing a couple of them right there, if I'm being completely honest. Probably just missing one extrusion. So extrude again, merge those two right there. Again, this might not even be completely necessary. Might even be able to bezel this, and but I'm less worried about this area, especially right now, you know. Definitely less worried about this area. But yeah, that's a brilliant progress right there. So for one that I do like is that it's definitely looking like the RS5. I was a little bit worried that it would look too much like a RS6, you know, but I'm glad that it looks like the RS5. Those tiny cuts, you know, that we see, we'll adjust those later at a different time. But this is fantastic progress. It genuinely looks like an RS5, and I can be really, really pleased with that. That's for sure. I think I'll just adjust this vertex right there, small amount, like that. Yep, that's brilliant. Oof, that's looking clean. It genuinely looks like an RS5. Like I said, the RS5, the nice thing is just that it really looks like a compact RS6. And that's dope. That's absolutely dope. These faces, you know, these vertices do need to be extruded in. They need to be extruded in like that, but we don't fully know by how much just yet. We can even do that for now, but just knowing later, we'll have to adjust them slightly to look a lot more ergonomic, as the real RS5 does look a lot more ergonomic. Now, one place that I did wanted to make some subtle adjustment to was this area. See this right here is slightly adjusted, which is exactly what I'll do is I'll adjust these vertices on the z-axis, just like that. May adjust these ones as well, like this. Well, actually, be a bit more careful what we do right there. In fact, view this from the side just to make sure that we got that right. It is slightly adjusted. Probably not that much, but it is slightly adjusted. Make no mistake right there. Just wondering about, you know, one of these vertices right here, if these are correct. Perhaps dissolving them, perhaps adding a new group. And I think these ones need to be adjusted slightly on the z-axis and adding a cut right there, sort of like a bezel right there that follows it around. This is what I've noticed from the real model, that is. Okay, welcome back everyone. I saw this video on Instagram and it just confirms to me just how beautiful the new Aldis they look, the new Audi RS5s, the RS5 but also the RS5 Avant. So we're not just designing any RS5, we're actually designing the Avant specifically, the wagon itself. But it like I said, it feels like a compact RS6 with just a few more, you know, the body is updated. Just look at that beauty right there. It's just unreal. I never thought they could improve all the RS line, Avant line, you know. I never thought they could improve it even more, but they have, and it just looks stunning. But you know, something else I have to say is just the regular RS3, just this one right here, it's starting to look like a BMW. Am I just the only one who's seeing that? I can't be the only one who's, you know, starting to look at this car and saying, starting to look a little bit more like BMWs. But you know what it really looks like? It looks like the e-tron. Anyway, let's continue modeling the vehicle. So we managed to get quite a lot done, so that's really good. Now we managed to get quite a lot done, so that's really good. So next step, we just want to continue modeling the vehicle. So let's join these two objects. And I believe from here we can duplicate these vertices. And essentially we just we'll just start thinking about how to model this area of the vehicle. And for one, I'm going to merge these vertices and extrude these vertices. I'm going to carry them out to the right hand side slightly. A few of these vertices, going to merge them. I just realized the duplicated version, we probably don't need those. We can delete them for now. We can probably start thinking about this area, small amount. Yep, needs to move these up on the z-axis. Let's turn on screencast keys. Then we can start duplicating these and working on these group of vertices right here. Let's shift these out to the right hand side like that. I think I'll carry them forward as well. We'll adjust these vertices as well. Press double G to adjust those vertices as well. And we'll adjust those vertices as well. Adjust them like that. I wonder if we should also adjust these ones, carry them in. However, we got to be careful with that area slightly because of how it's designed. Yeah, so there's a lot more vertices there that needs to be extruded in. We're not going to worry too much about that for now. Next area we want to work on would be those ones right there. Those group of vertices right there. So for one, need to carry this forward slightly. Let's view this from the side. We're going to carry this vertex back slightly on the y-axis. Let's press double G to adjust this one, then carry it down on the z-axis. We can adjust this one as well on the z-axis. I think I'll probably edge these vertices up on the z-axis slightly, particularly those ones right there. Now at this point, it's actually really intricate. There's a sharp crease right there, but at this point, the bodywork is a little bit protruded. Similar to the rear, it's got this new kind of style that Audi has been added to their vehicle mostly recently, you know? This is another perspective look at it. So it's like this area is bulked out slightly. And this is this area we're thinking about, you know, it's bulked out slightly. So here's what we'll do. We'll adjust these, particularly on the x-axis like that. Think we'll adjust this one on the x-axis as well like this. We'll adjust this on the x-axis and carry those vertices in like that. That's good. Let's view this one once again. I think the alignment is probably a little bit off right there because the crease is telling us it should be around here. So, okay, we'll start filling those faces so we can get an idea of what we're working with here. And how about this area? Just thinking, yeah, so that needs to be connected. One thing right there. So I might be adding vertex right here. I'll probably merge these two at last. That's good. We'll start filling those faces. And you know what? I'm gonna merge these two at last as well. And you know what? Shade smooth for that area as well. Let's use our matte cap. Let's use our matte cap for this area. Let's see. And let's duplicate this. Let's carry these vertices down. Let's carry them forward slightly. Let's view this from the top. And at this point, it just needs to be attached to the wheel arch. So this group of vertices, we probably don't even need that group, to be honest. So let's delete those. Well, actually, you know what? I think I'll hold on to a few of them for now. If anything, I may just carry these one up slightly. Probably just delete those ones for now. Yeah, I'll probably just edge these one up slightly, like this. But I think this group, we need to edge this out slightly, like that. And again, I don't even know if that's necessary just yet, so we're going to ignore it for a moment. And first we got to understand if we need it at all just yet. So there's a crease right there, of course. There's another crease right there. There's another crease right there. So there's like 3 creases. So yeah, we'll probably have to add that manually. So we'll just fill those faces for now. We're going to add another loop cut right here. And I believe we're going to merge these right there. And you know what? We'll also merge these ones at last right there. Although, that's interesting. That is interesting. Maybe undo that for a moment. Carry these vertices, adjust these vertices, pressing double G. Kind of like that. Let's view this from the front. Let's relax those vertices. We'll carry these ones down, carry them back slightly. And I think we'll probably just merge this at last, like that. I think we'll also just carry these vertices back like this. Carry them within slightly, carry them down. And then as for these ones, we'll fill those faces. We'll also fill those faces right there. But it's one thing I don't like is this look right there. It doesn't because this is supposed to be a sharp angle that goes all the way around pretty much this area right there. So in fact, we might have to delete these vertices. Let's see if we can add some loop cuts right there. Yeah, you see this area is just way too, it's a little bit too much. Let's add some loop cuts right there. Probably want to dissolve these edges right here. Probably want to dissolve that edge as well. Okay, that's more interesting. Let's carry this one down. Adjust these vertices as well. Or rather, adjust those ones, just carry them back slightly in that direction. So just trying to clean up the topology really so that it makes more sense. Because even this one out here needs to be a little bit higher, like that. And you can see this one right here just looks like it's too much, you know? It's too much. It's like there's way too much going on there. And I think I'll move these vertices up slightly. Yep, we'll move those one up. We'll move these one up as well. And move those one up as well. And we'll move those ones down like that. Probably move these one up as well. Probably just carry those vertices in like that. And those need to be adjusted on the, yeah, these ones need to be adjusted. Pretty much what we just did, you know, we adjusted these vertices, of course, and starting to think we probably shouldn't have. If anything, those need to be carried down more on the z-axis. And so too probably with those vertices right there. But before we do that, probably adjust these ones like that. No, because that's where that cut is. So probably just adjust these ones down slightly like this. That's if we can do that without ruining the topology. So we probably need to relax these topology, relax those vertices as well. Maybe not. Or do we just need to adjust these ones by pressing double G, carrying them down like that? Probably. Could always press double G to adjust these ones like this. Nope. Don't want to adjust those ones too much. Or should it be a little bit more like that? But that's the thing. If we just get rid of that, the spacing, it becomes a spacing issue. Or do we just carry this vertex back like this? It's complex. I think we'll press double G to adjust this one as well. Adjust those ones as well. We'll add a loop cut around there. Join those ones. I think at this point we can definitely start thinking about that. But it seems to need a loop cut in there. Yeah, definitely need something in there. And the unique thing about this group is probably that they're edged in like this. Probably like that. Carry it back slightly. And I think there's like a bezel right there. Now that I'm even looking at it from this angle, it looks like it's got that Volkswagen thing going on right there. We're going to dissolve this group, add another group right there, add another group right there. I'm going to select some of these vertices individually, try something different. Then I'm just going to try to tuck them in slightly. Or do we raise them like that? Something like this. But getting it right can be a little bit tricky. Gotta get the right mat cap for this area. Notice how it looks right there. There's a sharp curve, indent, 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 sharp curve. So even though I like this design, so we can actually duplicate this and let's add this to our spare. But just analyzing the design and just going back over it. So I'm gonna dissolve some of these vertices, dissolving these ones as well. Like there's definitely indents around there, indent, indent, and then this is sharp. So it's like there's a bezel right there. These vertices are indented, probably drop down a little bit, indented like that. These ones feel like they drop down a little bit like this, a bit more like that. And if anything, I think these ones are a little bit less indented. So if anything, can probably add them again. Try to be subtle with these, kind of like this. It's a bit more like that, but it's still not quite there. And this area is super flat. It's not supposed to be like that. So even these vertices need adjusting. Probably dissolve them, in fact. Probably dissolve those as well. Probably add some new ones. Join those. And at this point, the bodywork extrudes. I think there might be one right there as well, like a small amount of bezel right there. So pretty much around this area right there. But it's a lot more subtle. It's kind of like that, but in a soft way. And these ones are a lot more subtle. Let's view this from this angle, and we know some of these vertices, they need to be protruded like that. So we'll edge them out like this. You know, they're very much protruded. And obviously there's a cut right there that we cannot forget, but not quite ready to make that cut. So we're basically going to fill those faces right there, including those ones. Double G to adjust that one, double G to adjust this one. Add some additional loop cuts around these areas. Add some additional loop cuts there, and we'll fill these remainder faces like that. Similar thing right here. We'll fill those faces right there. So we know that there's a cut right there. It's kind of like we need to create that cut right there, and it needs to be more around this area. Let's dissolve this edge for now. Now the question is, can we then fix this area? Not sure, but we'll certainly try. Probably merge these two for now, because soon we'll be able to readjust that area, and we'll adjust these areas. We'll readjust all of those slightly like this, because like I said, this will be adjusted eventually, and these ones will also be adjusted slightly as well. We can start thinking about this area right there. Maybe a little bit tricky because I feel as if these are supposed to be closer there. What do we then do? Do we dissolve this area, or do we just readjust it slightly, just carry it around a bit more? That's possible. But then there's that cut right there that we just can't forget. I feel like this area just needs to be edged out slightly more. Kind of like this, but then carry it down slightly. Do we then carry this one down as well? We'll carry out this vertices slightly. We'll carry these one up slightly. Same thing right there, we'll carry those up slightly. That is a little bit better. Still feel like I need to edge these one out. Carry them down slightly. Carry these ones down slightly like this. And then from there, I believe we can then extrude these vertices back like that. Although, I feel as if first we need an entire bezel around there. So extrude it and basically scale it down, scale it within like this. And then extrude within and carry this back like that. Now this is where we'll use active element. We can use active element right there. Scale it on the x-axis, scale it on the z-axis like this, and carry these vertices down, carry those vertices down, carry these vertices down, carry these vertices up, and adjust this one as well like this. Good question about this area. Do we then edge this area up slightly? So too with this vertice. Probably edge these vertices in slightly like that. Probably edge these one in as well like this. Edge these one in slightly like that. So that's definitely looking a lot better. Although there's a little bit of a bezel right there as well. That's a bit more exposed. So even this area needs to be scaled slightly on these z-axes. So they're a bit more exposed like this. And then we'll probably scale this down to match up with that area. Can probably use active element once again. Scale this area down to match up with that area. Scale it on the z-axis slightly like that, and add a couple of loop cuts around there like this. I just think these ones are perhaps a little bit more exposed. Yep, so like these ones are a bit more exposed like this. Or are they? They're a little bit hidden at the same time. Let's get rid of that bezel right there. Probably add the bezel within here. But before we can do that, yep, thought there was something that was wrong. Like this area right here should be smooth. Yep. These areas right here should be smooth like this, in my opinion. Or shouldn't they? Because it kind of folds in, then extrudes in. It's a bit more like that. Folds in, then it extrudes in. But I think perhaps this area should not be that sharp. So let's extrude this one within slightly. Something's not making sense. Yep. See right there? Thought these weren't making sense for sure. But also, even from this perspective, these ones, they need to be a lot more flat. Let's carry these vertices up like this. Carry these one up. Carry those one up as well like that. Probably dissolve this again. Double G to adjust these vertices. Carry them up. Adjust those ones. Carry them up. Carry these one up as well. Add another loop cut right there. Carry these vertices up. Carry those vertices up. Carry these vertices up like that. And adjust these one as well like this. So little by little, it's starting to look more like the Audi that we're trying to look for. Just curious right there. There's like a bezel right there, rather sharp as well. But these areas are a bit more edged in. Then add a bezel right there. This area, shouldn't this area be a bit more exposed like this? Like this area seems odd. Just like the overall shape right there. Let's edge these vertices up slightly more. Like this. Edge them out slightly. Edge these vertices up as well. That's looking good. Although there's a bit too many vertices right here. Do we just need to separate those? Definitely too many vertices there, which is why we're going to make a cut. That's not the only reason, but various reasons why we're going to make a cut. These are too indented, so we're just going to carry them out slightly. If anything, we might relax these ones as well. So relax those vertices right there. Okay, so question is, do we then relax these vertices? And sort of like, same thing with these ones. Yep, do we then relax those vertices like that? Another loop cut around this area. Add another vertices right there. Join those. Another vertex right there. Join those. That's a little bit better. Need some adjustments, that's for sure. Flatten this on the z-axis and carry it back slightly. Double G to adjust those, carry them forward slightly. Carry these ones back slightly. That's good. I wonder if I leave it for another video, like, you know, how to make cuts in vehicles. Could do. Also, an interesting solution for this may be shrink wrap. Now, as for this area, I think we'll carry this one out. Carry it up slightly. Carry it out again. Then extrude these vertices, carry them down. Carry this one back. Add a couple more vertices like this. These ones right here keep on making me wonder, like, what's the deal right there? Obviously, we know that this area is like, it's open slightly, pivoted open slightly. So let's see if we can edge these areas out and edge this area in. Get a better view of this area right here. Fairly simplistic. We'll extrude another vertex down there and edge this area in like this. But you know what? For now, let's just work with these vertices right there. So we're just thinking about the door. We're not even thinking about the side skirt yet. So let's move those one up. Move those ones down. Fill these faces. Double G to adjust those vertices. Fill those faces. And fill these ones as well. Wonder if these ones should go up as well, like that. Add a group right there. Join those. Double G to adjust. Dissolve this edge. Do we join those? Double G to adjust. Merge these areas. And I wonder if it's this area that needs to be edged in slightly. Just around where the tire is supposed to be, it starts to be edged in. Okay, so that's interesting. So if the tire is supposed to be around there, okay, there we go. Got the blueprint to help us right there. We'll adjust these ones as well. Let's see how that would look. Probably still needs to be edged out slightly. As for these vertices, they're edged in like this. Double G to adjust these group of vertices like that. We'll adjust those ones as well. These ones are definitely folded in quite a bit. Flatten these on the z-axis, x-axis I should say. We could add a few more loop cuts around here, but got to be careful with that because, you know, might not always turn out looking the best. Flatten these on the x-axis, edge them out slightly, edge these ones out slightly, and edge those ones out slightly as well. Now, of course, this area looks terrible. It needs to be relaxed. Kind of like that. Dare I say, kind of. Similar thing right here. Let's relax those vertices. You still get that effect, which is good. It's what we're looking for. And then there's a sharp line right there that follows from the body panel. So it's like around there, but it's not affecting everything, you know. It's like I was saying, you know, all these still keeps, you know, a lot of their aesthetics. A lot of those sharp lines that they're known for, they still keep a lot of those. Why is this one adjusted like this? Same thing right there. There should be a sharp line around here, that's for sure. There should be one around there. A little bit more like that, with some future adjustments to be made. So just wondering if I should, you know, possibly like create separate videos for making the cuts within the body panel, and thinking about a shrink wrap for this area. I don't know if it will work, but I'm just thinking about like if it could work. It's probably worth a shot. But that's good work so far. Really, really good work so far. So let's finish up our model. One of the areas I'd like to work on is this area for sure. I think these need to be a lot lowered. I think they need to be a lot lower because we can clearly see from images like this area, it protrudes below, like right there. It actually goes to the actual floor, which is rather aggressive. And then there's this part that's extruded right there into the aero fin right there. So, and then notably, I think this right here somehow extrudes around this area. That's also interesting. So for one, I want to carry these ones down like this. And as for these vertices, I think they also need to be lowered slightly like that. I think the one difference is that they're somewhat tilted back quite a bit as well. Like we can see even around here, you know, there's a lot of subtle curvatures around this area like that. You know, it's not that sharp down that area. It's definitely curved around. So we'll carry these back, and naturally we may carry them up slightly more like that, but really not too much. That's good. And this area will have to be sharpened up quite a bit as well. Yeah, needs to be sharpened up quite a bit. Probably extrude these vertices back like that. Probably carry out these ones like this. Flatten these ones on the x-axis. Fill those faces and join these vertices. Let's join those vertices as well. Let's join these vertices. Let's flatten these on the z-axis. And let's add some vertices right there. Additional vertices around these areas. Probably another group of vertices right there. And as for these areas, I think we'll just extrude them in like this. As for these areas, we'll just carry them in slightly like this. And then we'll just carry those one up like that. Carry these ones down like this, so they're a lot more sharp. Carry these areas down like this, and probably edge this area out slightly. Probably add another loop cut right there just to close it up. And I wonder if we ought to edge these ones in slightly. Kind of like a similar thing to that right there. Probably edge these vertices out slightly. Okay. And I'd say edge these vertices up slightly. Dissolve this edge right here. Add a vertex right there. Carry these areas up. That's good. Then we got to extrude these ones. So add a couple of loop cuts right there. That's interesting. Add a loop cut around this area. And we'll carry these ones down like that. Carry those ones down like this. Carry these areas down like this. Flatten these on the z-axis. Flatten these on the z-axis as well, possibly. Let's carry these within like that. Carry these one within like this. Carry those ones down like that. Hold up, we adjusted too much of this. Yep. Too many of those vertices remove. We're only going to move those ones. Adjust these ones as well. I should think so. But now, naturally, from this angle, you can clearly see these need to be adjusted like that. These need to be dropped down like this. Adjust those ones like this. Wonder if we ought to adjust these ones as well, like that. Do we dissolve this area and add another one? Because we don't want the vertices to be messed up, you know. That's an important point. That's also another important question right there. It's just that this looks a little bit out of place, like that. So it's like carrying them in like this. Do we then adjust this area like that? Add another loop cut right there. Adjust it like this slightly. Trying to get these areas right. I'd say edge these areas forward, not by much, just a small amount. And edge these areas forward. I'd say edge these areas forward as well. I'd say flatten these on the z-axis, flatten these on the z-axis, carry those vertices down, carry these vertices up, carry those vertices up. And then as for these ones, I think we can then extrude them. Yeah, I think we can then extrude them like this, flatten it on the x-axis, shift it up slightly like that, and most important, edge them back like this, and add a loop cut around there, add another loop cut around there. Question is, surprisingly it looks accurate. I was actually surprised by how accurate it looks. But yeah, surprisingly it does look accurate, although this area looks like, you know, like it's a lot more minimal. So here's what I'll do. I think I'll delete these faces like that. I think I'll add some loop cuts around these areas. Probably not actually. I think it just needs to be sharp. So probably just one loop cut like this. And carry these ones forward like that. Not too much. Carry them down slightly. Carry them in slightly on the x-axis. And carry them down slightly. Let's edge these vertices out like this. Let's edge those vertices out like that. Add a loop cut right there. Edge those vertices out like that. Probably edge these one out as well like this. Just wondering if we can add a bezel right there just to sharpen it up. I definitely think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. Which side we add it to is really up to us, to be honest. Kind of like this angle. And then adjusting those like that. Now, ironically, this area is interesting. This area is very, very interesting. Also, it seems that there's a little bezel right there. So, kind of want to delete these ones, if I'm being completely honest. Because it seems like there's a bezel right there. So, kind of question is, do we need to carry these up slightly? Possibly. Do we need to dissolve these areas slightly? Well, probably edge these areas in like that. Let's extrude these vertices up like that. Carry them forward like this and fill those areas. That's good. And as for these areas, now this is where it gets interesting. We've got to extrude those vertices there. Carry them down. We're going to join those, Control J and join. I'm going to carry these ones forward around there. I want to carry them down slightly, not by much, but just a little bit. Probably carry these ones down slightly as well. Probably edge these ones forward as well. Probably edge these ones forward as well, and edge these ones forward as well. And then you can see this bezel kind of goes around the entire thing right there. That's wild. So it's like we need these vertices as well. P to separate and Control J to join. I'd say, do we merge those two or do we dissolve these ones? Yep. Then merge these two. Yep. We're then going to extrude those. Scale them within on median point, not by much, and carry them in on the x-axis slightly. Carry them forward slightly. then extrude them back like this. And on the other side, extrude them as well. That's good. Probably add a loop cut around there. Good. And then it will come time to join those. So I'm going to merge those at last. Add a loop cut right there. Merge these ones at last. Merge those ones at last. Merge these ones at last. Merge those ones at last as well. Hold on a minute. I think we'll select these vertices right there. We'll select those ones as well. How about these ones? Just those ones that need to be selected? I believe so. View this from the top. We need to extrude it 2 more times. So extrude it once again and once again. That's good. Now from here, should be fairly simple to fill those faces. Can we fill those ones as well? Fill these ones as well. That's brilliant. And then we got our bezel right there. However, probably need another one right there as well. It's a bit more subtle though. It's a lot more subtle. So before we do that, maybe press double G and adjust these ones slightly. Or we just add one right there and possibly dissolve this edge right here. Select all, Shift N to set the normals. Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? Or perhaps it's these areas that we ought to adjust. Sort of like carry them back like this a little bit more. Hold on. Yeah, it managed to, don't want to select the entire area, you know, just these vertices right here and carry them back. Scale them on the y-axis, carry them forward slightly like this. Probably dissolve those vertices right there. Keep it sharp. I think this could work. Yep, and it's just one bezel right there. Yeah, probably add a loop cut underneath right there. Or you just press double G and adjust this one like that. Now I remember why I added this one. It was to carry this one forward, but don't think it's necessary anymore. But that's pretty good, you know, just adding those additional details to this area. It's a lot more intricate, definitely more detail. Feel like it's progress compared to my RS6 modeling. I think this is great progress. So we're going to save this file. And there's still things we can improve. Like I said, I think for the cuts, we might leave that for another video. And I think I might try to shrink wrap there. That might be another video as well. But thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Subscribe to see more. Remember to check out our courses. We actually have the RS6 course on Gumroad if you'd like to support the channel, but it's also free on the YouTube channel as well. You can just check out the playlist. We have other courses. I'd recommend our Porsche course. That's our most in-depth course, and we've got new courses coming out, particularly for the Aston Martin Valhalla. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.